Space is a place where astronauts are meant to be alone, terrifying, overwhelming, and endlessly vast. Because of this, the chance of seeing someone, or something, they don't expect is almost zero. But when they do, how are they supposed to react? Welcome to Redacted. Today, we'll take a look at the 10 creepiest and most disturbing space stories that will give you nightmares. 10. The Space Snake. Retired NASA astronaut Dr. Story Musgrave had an outstanding career as a space traveler. He became the second astronaut to fly on 6 space missions and earned 6 academic degrees, making him one of the most formally educated astronauts in history. He is also the only astronaut to have flown on all 5 space shuttles. Given his vast experience and credibility, Dr. Musgrave's words carry enormous weight. That's why it's difficult to dismiss his shocking claim that he saw a 2.5-meter-long white snake in space. While some suggest it could have been a detached hose from the spacecraft, Musgrave remained firm in his conviction. He even claimed to have seen this eel or snake-like creature not once, but on 2 different missions. In multiple interviews, Dr. Musgrave insisted that alien life exists, and that he had personally witnessed it. 9. Let me in. Before telling this story, let's remember, there is no sound in space. Unlike light, sound waves cannot travel through a vacuum, which is why astronauts need special communication devices inside their suits to talk with each other and mission control on Earth. In 2003, Yang Liwei became the first astronaut sent into space by China's space program. While sitting inside his spacecraft, he suddenly heard a continuous knocking sound. According to Liwei, it resembled someone hitting an iron bucket with a wooden hammer. Since sound cannot travel in space, Liwei couldn't tell whether the noise came from inside or outside the craft. Alarmed, he peered through the cabin window, but saw nothing unusual. After returning to Earth, he tried to describe the noise to experts but was unable to reproduce it. The story grew more disturbing when several other Chinese astronauts claimed to have heard similar knocking sounds during missions in 2005 and 2008. 8. Moon Spies. It has been more than half a century since Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin took humanity's first steps on the moon. Yet, conspiracy theories surrounding the mission never seem to fade. One of the strangest claims is that the moon is actually an alien base used to observe humans. According to the theory, Armstrong said something much bolder than his iconic, "one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind." Allegedly, when Apollo 11 landed, Armstrong was shocked to see 2 enormous spacecraft already present on the moon's surface. He reportedly described them as gigantic UFOs lined up on the far edge of a crater, observing Earth. This theory is fueled by the fact that NASA's communication with Apollo 11 was mysteriously cut off for about 2 minutes. Did Armstrong really encounter aliens during that blackout? 7. Space Music. We already discussed that sound cannot travel through the vacuum of space. But astronauts have reported hearing strange sounds during missions. During Apollo 10, a test flight before the historic Apollo 11 landing, astronauts Stafford, Young, and Cernan were orbiting the moon when they suddenly heard a whistling, music-like sound. The eerie, space music lasted for nearly an hour and unsettled the entire crew. Cernan described it as an otherworldly melody and admitted he was deeply disturbed. The astronauts even debated whether they should tell NASA and the public. Later, Michael Collins, who flew with Armstrong and Aldrin on Apollo 11, revealed that he too had heard similar sounds while near the moon. NASA engineers later claimed the sounds were caused by radio interference between the lunar and command modules. But Apollo 15 astronaut Al Wardens rejected this explanation, insisting the phenomenon remained unexplained. 6. The Mysterious Shining Object on the Moon. NASA astronaut Alan Bean, the 4th man to walk on the moon, claimed to have seen something strange during Apollo 12 in 1969. While walking on the lunar surface, he noticed a bright object in the distance, which he described as being shaped like a leather boot. What exactly he saw remains unknown, and with Bean's passing, the truth about the eerie shining object on the moon may never be revealed. 5. A unique UFO. When someone says UFO, most people imagine a circular, disc-shaped craft. But astronauts Ed White and James McDivitt, on the Gemini 4 mission, described something very different. On the second day of their mission, McDivitt noticed a strange object floating outside the spacecraft while White was asleep. He quickly grabbed his camera and snapped several photos of what looked like a beer can-shaped object with a long, smooth arm or wing attached to it. Unfortunately, the photos turned out blurry and poorly exposed. McDivitt later explained that as sunlight reflected off the window, the object eventually disappeared from view. 4. A fleet of UFOs. Astronaut Gordon Cooper, one of the original 7 astronauts in Project Mercury, claimed to have seen UFOs more than once. Cooper, who also flew the Mercury 9 and Gemini 5 missions, reported an encounter with an entire fleet of UFOs while serving in the Air Force. Years later, in 1963, Cooper spotted another mysterious object that resembled what he had seen before. This time, it was detected on his aircraft radar, confirming that the phenomenon wasn't just a hallucination. The encounter left many wondering why UFOs seemed to be so interested in Cooper. 3. The cylindrical UFO. In 1991, decorated Russian cosmonaut Musa Manarov served as a flight engineer aboard Soyuz TM-4. During the mission, he accidentally filmed a bright, rotating cylindrical object moving through space. At first, he thought it might have been debris or a part of the spacecraft. But the object's unusual speed and rotation left him with lasting doubts. 2. Frozen corpses. Before daring to send humans into space, many nations, including the US and the Soviet Union, used animals as test subjects. Famous examples include Laika the dog, Miss Baker the squirrel monkey, and Han the chimpanzee. While some animals returned safely, others weren't so lucky. For astronauts, spotting the frozen remains of these early test animals drifting in orbit is an eerie and heartbreaking reminder of humanity's sacrifices in space exploration. 1. Strange lights. In 2005, American astronaut Leroy Chiao, commander of the International Space Station, reported witnessing a cluster of strange lights in space. According to Chiao, the formation resembled an upside-down V. He watched in awe as the glowing objects moved across the void until they vanished. Chiao later stated that he was 100% convinced he had been visited by extraterrestrials. He even suggested that the UFOs might have originated from a parallel dimension. Do you have a chilling story you'd like to share? Drop it in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more creepy videos like this one.